Hi guys, welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. Ladies in Red, a bit of a different show this one. Soph and Meg, should we say Meg? Soph and Meg show is back. Unfortunately, Zara dropped out last minute. She's stuck at work till 8 o'clock tonight. Nicole has got family over, I believe. I know Emma was already unlikely to make it anyway because family coming over. These things happen. We are going to try and get the girls on later on, but I'm still buzzing to have Meg here. Meg, how are you feeling?
Hello, I'm good. I mean, I was all ready to be like put in the corner, and now I'm put on the whole side of the screen. But yeah, the girls are unfortunately busy, aren't they? So everyone's just got me and you. They're stuck with the two of us.
Just the two of us. Yeah, sorry guys, but yeah, Meg. We're trying to be positive and we're smiling and we're singing, but we've got to at some point talk about yesterday's disaster performance. I'll start with asking you how you felt watching it, and do you feel any better waking up today after that result?
I feel like last night I got my ranty pants on. Once we'd finished, I was all for a rant. I was annoyed, as was everyone, I think. This morning I've simmered down a little bit. I'm not that boiling pot of water anymore. I've just simmered to a nice little bubble. But yeah, I mean, I've written down some notes, right? And my first note was that I could take a loss. I'm happy, I know at some point we were going to lose. If anybody noticed, I didn't put a prediction out yesterday at all, because I just had this underlying feeling that there was going to be a bump in the road come in, and I felt like that was the game that was going to be the bump in the road. So I didn't put a prediction out because I just felt like it was going to happen, and I wasn't going to put out, oh, my team's going to lose, but I just had this underlying issue. So there was no prediction from me because I felt like it was coming. And like I said, I can take a loss, fine, because it's going to happen. You're not going to go through a whole season winning absolutely everything, right? And that turns in FA Cup as well, before everyone says, oh, the Invincibles did it. But the way that we lost and the manner that we lost, it was really hard to watch, because we didn't hit the standards that we've set for ourselves. And that's annoying, isn't it? When you've set your own standards since Project Restart and we're not hitting them, that's when it becomes annoying, because it's not even like we're hyping everyone up, like into hyping the team up. They've hyped themselves up. When you play so well for so long, that's why. Am I drunk? No, by the way. That comment really threw me off. Sorry, I was like, what?
I think,
yeah,
you're right, Meg. I tweeted that yesterday. I said I can take a loss, I can take losing, and yeah, we were beaten by the better team. But when we turn up, well, I say we turn up, and I say that phrase lightly because for me, like, it was pointless as even going to London yesterday and going to Wembley. Like, for that performance, it was shocking. And I said beforehand, I didn't know how to feel about the game. I think a bit like you had that niggling feeling, and I thought it all depended on the lineup that we were going to get. And when I heard, obviously, Ollie was dropping a few key players, I must admit I feared. I think it's a bit of an awkward one for Ollie, though, because you've got to appreciate that there's players who are tired, players who obviously need a rest, and obviously we've got a massive game against West Ham. But I always say, like, and I know you've said the same thing, you echo this, if you're in a competition, you're in a competition to win it. And to get to a semi-final and then drop your key players, Meg, I've got to be honest and say, in my eyes, Ollie got it wrong yesterday.
I think it's dead easy to say he got it wrong. I was really surprised that Igalo didn't start. Look at Phil Neville said this before the game on BBC, that in the Chelsea squad, their weakest part is their defence. Now, for me, I would have put Igalo up top. If you're going to change it, and change it so that you are resting key players, start Igalo. Someone who is up there, target player against their centre-backs. Bit of, like, brute force at times.
A bit like Giroud was for them.
A bit like Giroud, because the Giroud bullied Harry Maguire. I've got that written down as well in a second, because I'm going to call a few players out in terms of individual performances. He got bullied. But I feel like we should have echoed that. I feel like Igalo should have started. If you're going to drop players and switch up the formation and change the style, put Igalo on there. Put a target man up top with a bit of force, bit of just something different. So you've got that one player that you're aiming towards.
Yeah, I felt like you're spot on, really, what you're saying. Someone to aim towards. I felt like yesterday we didn't have that focal point. So when we were penned in a bit, we didn't have an outlet at all. Dan James, we know physically he's not the type of player who's going to hold the ball up, and I think that it was just coming straight back at us. It just tactically it was horrible yesterday. I think we went with the wrong shape. Like you say, certain personnel should have started, and it was just one of them days. But I think we need to remember, like Doug says here, it's 1 defeat in 20. Let's not get too obviously wrapped up in the fact we've lost. Nobody likes to lose, and we've already mentioned it's the way that we lost that's more frustrating. But we need to bounce back now. For me, it's all about the reaction. And yesterday, after we conceded 2 goals at the 2 worst possible times we could concede, for me, I was thinking, have we got characters in this team? Are we going to bounce back? And obviously, we didn't have that yesterday. I think the game was already done and dusted, to be fair, when that second went in. But West Ham, that's the game that we need to be focusing on now. Champions League football, obviously. And for me, I'm thinking I want us to win the Europa League now, even more so because I want a trophy this season. We've got so close to a trophy, and to throw it away, and it did feel like we just chucked it away yesterday. To throw it away the way that we did, I'm hoping that we get the Europa League. And I just want to say to Rahul as well, I did see a comment. I said just at the start that Zara had to drop out last minute. Same with Nicole as well. Family commitments and work commitments, unfortunately. And Emma already had parents over, I believe, today, so she was struggling to get on anyway. So unfortunately, the girls are all going to make it. But like I say, me and Meg are here, and happy to be here as always, Meg. But yeah, we'll try and get the girls on later on in the week. Yeah, they skanked us today, basically. They've just skanked us, Meg.
They are still not over the loss. I don't think. I think that's what they need. They need to simmer down a little bit more before they come on. But yeah, I just think like I said, I can take a loss, and like it is 1 in 20. So I mean, we can complain because the manner that we lost for me was poor in terms of criticising their performance. But I can't. You know, it was going to happen at some point. The only thing I would say, and I think I've seen it on Twitter today, I think Paul Merson has come out and spoke about it, is that Ollie is judged on trophies. Now, if he ends the season without a trophy but in top 4, what are we happy with that? Or because at the end of the day, on his CV, it won't say anything. It's not going to say, "Oh, top 4 finish," because that's not what managers get judged on. They get judged on winning a trophy, and he won't have done that if obviously Europa League. That's a completely different ball game because of the way that it's now set out. But yeah, I just think the performance is really disappointing, and I hope that doesn't carry on into the Premier League. I tweeted yesterday as well that we've got 2 games and they are huge games, and we shouldn't dwell on this result now. It's done. We got it wrong. You've got to switch up now. You've got to focus on the next 2 games. 48 hours time, we're going to be kicking off. 48 hours, that's all the players now have got to turn that round. And it's not long when if you lose and you played well, you can kind of take it on the chin a little bit more. But to lose in the manner that they did, they've got to switch that momentum. They've got to switch mentally back on into the game.
I completely agree, Meg. Turbo Warrior, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I love Ollie, but dropping Sergio was distasteful. Why did he do that? Hope Eric is okay. And Fred was abysmal with his passing, the worst player, I thought. Firstly, on the whole De Gea, Sergio Romero situation, Meg, obviously De Gea, he did make mistakes yesterday. It's hard to defend what happened, to be honest with you. And it's becoming more frequent now, the mistakes he's making, which is a big concern for me. But semi-final, do you think Ollie was right to drop the usual cup goalkeeper in Romero and put his number 1 in?
I was really surprised. I don't know if it just took me by a bit of shock. But De Gea hadn't played a game in the FA Cup for over 2 years. And I just think that's crazy. I think if you're going to have a cup goalkeeper, and that's what we have had in Romero, then you stick with him. Again, very easy to say in hindsight that, I'd put Romero in, especially when De Gea just dropped 2 in his net. But De Gea was number 1. So he's obviously, in his head, I would presume he's kind of weakened the outfield team, but has kept the solid goalkeeper, his number 1 goalkeeper, to try and balance it out. That's all I can think that he's gone for. But yeah, I mean, Romero's a second choice, but he's class.
Yeah, and Turbo Warrior also said about Fred, he felt that he was the worst player on the pitch yesterday, giving the ball away a lot. The thing with Fred that baffles me is, just before this lockdown happened, Fred and McTominay, and Rashford obviously before his injury, these players we were screaming saying they're the most improved players this season. They're having an amazing season. These players don't turn crap overnight. So what's happened since lockdown and since these players coming back in? Because they're the players we're now turning to be the backup, and we're saying they're not good enough. But you don't go rubbish overnight. So what do you think that comes down to, Meg? Is it a confidence thing?
It might be. It's just, I think you look at the names on paper, and Pogba came back and he was fit, and therefore we look at the first game. I'd have played Pogba against Spurs in that first game, and he chose Fred. Fred got it well, didn't play to his best ability. Pogba came on and absolutely changed the game a little bit on that. So, you can't. I don't think you can say, oh, he was aiming for first team and now we shouldn't even be playing him. Yeah, okay, he had a bad game. Do I think he was the worst player on the pitch? No. I think that's...
It's hard to choose the worst player. That's how bad.
Yeah. I think there was a number of very bad performances, very bad individual performances last night. I mean, De Gea, by the way, got rated 2 out of 10 on the BBC Sport. He conceded 3 goals. He got rated less than the amount he conceded. A 2 out of 10. Yeah, just terrible individual errors.
Yeah, it was individual errors yesterday, and I mean, we can blame Ollie in the system, but I literally saw Wan-Bissaka letting the ball under his foot, run out of play, constantly misplaced passes. Brandon Williams suicide ball for their second goal. Like, it was more than one player. It was just a bad day at the office for everybody. But like you, I'm concerned at how that's going to affect our mentality then going into the last 2 games that are massive for our season. If we don't get top 4, then it's been a failure of a season. So it's really interesting one. Alex, thank you so much for the super chat. He says De Gea's loss in form is becoming more of an issue. The lack of pace from our centre backs was highlighted again yesterday, and the drop off in quality when we rest some players was clear for all to see. Of course, it is showing the lack of quality, isn't it, making our squad depth. We can't drop our key players. We can't rest our key players because the squad is simply not good enough to do that, is it?
No, and I think you look at you dropped Pogba, Greenwood,
Martial,
and I think Luke
Shaw
has been injured. Yeah, so he's dropped 4 players. 4 first team players were missing, and our whole style had to change, and that style did not suit us. I think we've been so reliant, and we've been so accustomed to playing this 4-4-2, 4-3. Well, whatever you want to call it, because they're so fluid up the top.
4-2-1-2, 4-2-1-2 was it? Is that right?
Yeah,
4-2-1-2, something like that.
They're so fluid up top that kind of interchange, and we lost that ability to do that as well. It didn't look fluid. Like you said, there were stray balls going everywhere. It's just that felt like we missed the connection when we play our regular formation. But yeah, individual errors. Sorry, the individual errors are just coming back to me now, and I'm just like, oh, you look at it and you just think there was no relationship between players as well, like that we've become accustomed to. So that style just did not suit us. I mentioned about highlighting the centre back pace. We got bullied. Bullied for pace, bullied for strength, bullied in the air, bullied with the ball at the feet. They were against Giroud was just terrible.
Yeah. Do you think though we have to acknowledge tiredness? We have to acknowledge that we've played so many games in a short span of time. Yes, Chelsea have 2, but they had more games to recover for this one, more days, to recover. Does that come into it as well? I think we kind of ignored the fact that our players are dead on their feet, if we're honest. Bruno looks so leggy. Players do need a rest, and I think we have to take that into account too. I do feel for the players in the sense that we had less time to get ready for that game, less time tactically to work for that game as well. But yeah, in terms of the pace at the back, we've already said it a few times about Maguire this season. I've constantly said about Lindelof and not trusting him and saying that he gets pushed off the ball. I fear, because we're playing against Antonio, and Antonio, who has been scoring goals of late for West Ham as well, is he going to do the same thing to our centre-backs?
I think if Southampton are giving everyone a blueprint about how to play against us, press high and quickly and look what you can get. And Antonio is a workhorse as well. He will press high and he will put you under pressure. So I just feel like perhaps West Ham, and I think when you talk about the amount of games, because we've got such important games coming up, I think that plays on your mind as well. That they can't be tired for the next 2 games, because the next 2 games determine our whole season. We can either, we can finish 3rd and we can be comfortable in Champions League place without even having to worry about who wins what cup. Because I was reading about that saying, and 4th spot potentially sometimes might not even get you a Champions League spot anymore. Or you can finish 5th in the Europa League. And that's huge. That's such a big difference. And I know it's only 2 places in the Premier League, but that will determine the outcome of the whole season, whether it's been good or bad. So I think that kind of tires you out on the game like yesterday, because you're thinking about the next 2.
Yeah, Red Devil Studio, thank you so much for the super chat. We have beaten Chelsea 3 times without our strongest 11 this season. Ollie got his tactics completely wrong on this one. I do think Ollie got his tactics wrong. I've said that. Normally I'm one who will defend Ollie and say, look, he hasn't got the quality to work with, but he got it wrong yesterday. I don't know why he chose to change the system just before a semi-final when, like Meg said, it's been working so well for us. Going forward, we look so dangerous. And yesterday, changing the system, it killed us.
But what I will say on that is, if he had not dropped anyone, and you go on even if you win that semi-final, but then you lose against West Ham, so many people would come out and say they're tired because he didn't make changes for the cup game. We lost. Yeah. We've got to just take it and move on. We've got to focus now on the Premier League. We're out of the cup. There's no point dwelling on it, really, in terms of a player's point of view. You've got to just move on. It's gone. You can't claw it back now.
Yeah. And to be fair, Ollie picks the team that goes out, yes. Obviously, like we've already mentioned, it highlights a lack of quality in our second 11 as such. But also, individual errors, we keep talking about it. Ollie can't do anything about that. I'm afraid that's the players. That's on the players. Like letting the ball run under your feet. Williams' pass we mentioned. Lindelof not tracking the runner. That's all on the players. Ollie doesn't do that. So regardless of the system, for me, we just simply weren't good enough yesterday. And Ollie, yes, he deserves some of the blame. But like I say, there's far more things that went on yesterday than just tactically getting it wrong. I think that we just weren't at the races. And I think it was clear to see that West Ham is obviously the game that is higher priority, because that's the game that brings the money in ultimately from the Champions League. And I think that we all know that money revolves around money. And it's obvious that the Champions League is more appealing to the club this season. Rahul says, how about... Yeah, definitely. Rahul says, how about Mike Dodgy Dean not giving the foul for what happened to Martial? Did you see that incident, Meg? And do you think... I'm asking you because you're a centre-back. If that was a penalty given against you, how would you be feeling?
That's hard, because I would be fuming. Firstly, I think it was definitely out of the box. And I think that someone said to me, because I tweeted about saying, why is that not a foul? Martial got to the ball, and the other player, was it Zuma? Zuma then kicked Martial from underneath. So for me, that is, if it was, because it's in the air, say the ball's on the floor, Martial gets his foot to the ball first, and then Zuma kicks him, that's a foul. So I don't see why it's so different when it's in the air. If not, I'm not a referee, and I do not understand the referee rules ins and outs completely. So if it's wrong, if I've got a wrong opinion, then that's absolutely fine. But for me, Martial's got to the ball first, Zuma's come through and kicked him from underneath. That's a foul. But on the other side, if I was that defender, I would be really annoyed too.
Yeah,
and if it was the other way around, I'd be like, it's definitely not a foul. But I just feel like he did get to the ball first.
Yeah, George said it was happening outside the box. I know it was close to the box, regardless whether it was or not. Like we talked about, if it's a foul, I'll be honest, I don't think it was. I thought Zuma got enough on the ball. I think he did kick the ball as well as Martial. I think it would have been a soft one if it was given. Of course, I would have took it as a United fan, but I think it would have been a soft one. I think we've seen some decisions on VAR lately. For example, the Greenwood one from Romeo that was completely wrong, and they're the kind of decisions for me that need highlighting. But that, like for me, that wasn't a clear and obvious error from the referee, if it was in the error or not anyway. And I genuinely think that Martial put his leg out, Zuma's put his leg out, both going for the ball. I think it would have been a really soft one if it was given. And like I say, if it was given against me, I would have been absolutely fuming. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But I'm not going to sit here and blame the referee for yesterday. Mike Dean, I cannot stand him, and I think he's awful. But we were the masters of our own disaster performance yesterday. I'm afraid, like, we can't blame the ref. We just weren't good enough, Meg. And I don't know if you feel the same about me. Did you bear any grudges against the ref yesterday?
No, not at all. If you're looking at excuses or reasons as to why we lost because we played absolutely terribly. Our performance was awful. I put here another one. Dan James, he did nothing but run, and all he did mainly was run away from the ball at times.
When was the last time Dan James actually did something though? Like, I'm not. I like Dan James, and I think that he's been overplayed this season, and he's come up into a league where he wasn't expecting to play as much as he has done. But I think now, the more we've seen Dan James, because he's been having to play, we've seen his weaknesses, and he is a bit one-dimensional, isn't he? I often say that on the counter-attack, I think he can be effective, but we saw in games like yesterday, he was just non-existent.
Yeah, I think it came up against, or it really showed how, going up against players like that he's not a first choice at all. And it's just, he just did a lot of running, but not effective running. He didn't really, we didn't get the ball to his feet so he could run with the ball. When he did do a run, I just felt like it wasn't effective in terms of dragging players out to make space or running through players so that they could send the ball through. Nothing. But like I said, I would have rested players. I would have rested Martial or Rashford, and I would have started Agallo. I would have gone that route rather than the Dan James route.
A few people in chat, PRTK says that Dan James is a left winger. Someone else has just said that as well. I'd agree with that. I think his best position on the left. We've saw he scored a few goals, cutting in on his right and whipping it into the far corner. I would agree with that. I say that is his best position. But I think if we're being brutally honest now about Dan James, and like I say, I like him and I'm not slating him or anything like that. But if we want to compete and be a top club, is Dan James realistically a top 4 player? I don't think he is, Meg.
No, not right now. Not without.
He's not. I think he's a Premier League player.
Yeah,
but not a top 4 player.
Not
and I think that's a harsh reality.
Game time to work on his game. I feel like he's not. We're not getting the best out of him at the moment.
Yeah, and I hope, and like JB says that he wasn't the only one who went missing. Of course, he was not.
Oh no,
everybody was shambolic. Everybody was shambolic. I don't even need to write them down. I can write everybody. But I just think that James, the more I see of him, he hasn't got a lot to his game, and I'm hoping he proves me wrong. I'm hoping that with the right coaching, he can excel and he can improve his game and get more of an end product and have a bit more variety in his game. I think that's what it is. It's a bit one-dimensional. I'm hoping he proves me wrong, of course, and I'm praying he does prove me wrong. But after watching him, I've got to be totally honest and say I can't see him being a top 4 player. I think Premier League, yes, but a top 4 player, I've got to be honest and say I can't see that. I genuinely cannot see that.
Not without getting an end product to his running. Because I think when you've got a talent, when you can run that fast and be that quick across the pitch, you just need to produce them at the end of it, because then you would be pretty much unstoppable. You look at he could do a bit more strength as well, but you look at the likes of Traore and the way he can move across the pitch quickly, but he's now found that end product. James needs that, but he also needs game time to do that. But when you are where we are at the moment and in the predicament that we are in, you can't be making these mistakes. We look at yesterday, we made a mistake. It's cost us. We're out. But
I agree. Nippon Sharma says, non-United fans allowed in this chat. Everybody is allowed in this chat. Obviously, I can see you got a Chelsea badge there, so I'm guessing you're a Chelsea fan. I'd be interested to see what your thoughts are on yesterday's game. Obviously, a fantastic day for Chelsea, an awful day for us. So, yeah, let me know in the chat what you thought about that game yesterday. And obviously, congratulations for making the final. The better team definitely won on the day. You cannot deny that.
By the way, definitely want Chelsea to win the final. I can't deal with Arsenal winning.
Easy. Easy. Lone Star said, never seen a United team not be up for a show up to a semi-final. Poor. Yes, that was a shocking semi-final, Meg, wasn't it? You know what? Like, in my head when I was having these doubts and thinking it depends on the lineup, I was thinking we're normally pretty good at Wembley in a semi-final. Even if Lingard plays, he scored some important goals there. Like, I still thought we've got enough quality, but I was not expecting a performance like that. Even if we lost, I said it was going to be a close one. We got absolutely battered.
But he got absolutely ruined.
Absolutely battered. Like,
I mean,
it was a laugh or cry situation for me. Like, I was just like, I can't believe what I'm watching here. I struggled to watch that.
shock horror, we got a pen. And Bruno tucked it away nicely, by the way.
Bruno Penandes, as people call him.
I just can't deal with the little jump. It makes my heart jump a little bit. Like, I need him to just fire it in. I can't be dealing with a little stutter. But fair play to him, because it's one way to take a penalty, I suppose. I mean, I'm not my choice. Not my choice on how I take a penalty, but it works. It went in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't show up.
East London says Wan-Bissaka getting pressured yesterday. I've said this so many times, especially when we were struggling to break teams down. We pass the ball out to our fullback, and if a team presses us, Wan-Bissaka is not very good on the ball, and he just goes straight back, and it's a suicide ball, really. I don't know what we expect Wan-Bissaka to do with that when teams press us that way. But it's so mind-numbing to watch, mate. We seem to struggle when teams press us up high. If we beat the press, of course we're away. But if we don't beat the press, we're playing ourselves into trouble. And I think, again, yesterday, like, we were playing in dangerous areas, and Chelsea constantly looked like they were going to nick it back.
If you you tweeted the Harry Maguire thing where he's just running around in a circle, because the press has just stopped him, and we've got nothing else. We can't seem to find a way to break it. And at times, like you said, we just ended up backing off, and we're like playing back in our own 18-yard box. Like, we're just sending the ball backwards. But yeah, we need to find a way to be able to move around the press, and almost like if it's going straight down the centre, you go around the sides. If it's coming down the sides, head through the centre and go out. But or just to get them off you, just ping it long. Just ping it long and send everyone off you and release that press off the defenders.
But for me, that's where I want to see Rashford spinning off in behind a bit more, offering, stretching the other team. I think there's too much of us playing it safe and coming to feet because it's the safer thing to do, rather than spinning off in behind and trying that little ball over the top. And I think we just need a bit more variety, and that's what we've seen with Pogba coming into the team, obviously Rashford coming back, and Bruno being there. We've seen that rotation. We've seen the odd long pass over the top, but we've seen people coming feet. It's varied. But yesterday, and probably because of the change of personnel, to be fair, and the change of system, but we just looked absolutely clueless. We looked like where we were before lockdown when we were struggling. We looked absolutely clueless, mate.
So someone's just put, let me just find it. So firstly, Delano's just put new manager ASAP. I don't agree. Very quickly.
No.
Red Devil Studio. Oh, literally what I was about to say, you just highlighted it. We can't break a press because we have no one to hold the ball up. And therefore, I was going to say, Ighalo should start against that press, just even if it's just for the Chelsea game, so that he can hold the ball up. But Red Devil and I clearly are on the same mindset.
Yeah, because at least there you've got someone to lump it up to.
Yeah, and just like I said, just hold the ball up a little bit more. You've got that bigger player there, rather, Martial and Rashford, very good with the ball, going at players. We've seen it recently, Martial especially, where we talk about how he just breezes past players. He literally, he like freezes them, because he's like ice cold. He just freezes them as he goes past them. He's like, they're done. But Ighalo's that different player, and I just think if you're going to release that pressure and play a longer ball, put Ighalo there.
Yeah, a massive thanks to Torstein, says a big fan of hairdryer treatment. Appreciate that. Guys, if you are new as well, please make sure you hit that sub button. We'd really appreciate it. And of course, share the channel as well. We're on the road to 10k now, Meg. That's what we're going for. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. We are, definitely. But Meg, West Ham next.
Sorry. Twisted Baba just put, are you missing Lukaku? And I feel like don't get twisted. Like, no.
I think we're missing a real lack of depth across the board. Like George said there, I agree with that. By the time Pogba came on, the game was done. I agree with that as well. But Meg, looking at West Ham, obviously we're going to move on now from this horrible game yesterday. Firstly, after that performance, can you still see us getting in top four? And secondly, what changes do you expect to see for West Ham?
Okay, so firstly, we've put ourselves in a position where it's now in our hands. And did you watch? Oh my God, what was it called?
I hate this position.
Did anybody used to watch Take Me Out? And then Paddy McGuinness would be like, the power is in your hands. That's what it's like. It's now in our hands. We can go and turn off the lights of everyone. I feel like that's what we're on. Oh, let's turn off West Ham's light. But we have put ourselves in a position where it is in our hands. It if we go out and do what we got to do, we get top 4, and we haven't got to worry about anybody else now. At one point, we were in a position where, regardless of whether we win all of our games, we'd still have to, wait on other results. We're not in that position now. We know what we've got to do. We win our games, we get top 4. So for me, yes, we can get top 4. Yes, well, in my heart, I'm hoping Liverpool win. But there's no reason for them not to win now. I don't mind not saying it now. So Liverpool win, and then Wolves come. Liverpool and Wolves. I would never support these teams ever, and here I am cheering them on. So if Liverpool and Wolves beat Chelsea, we could get 3rd as well, and that would be a huge result at the end of the season for Manchester United to be 3rd, because I think people had written us off. And now look at it. Now look at us, potentially 3rd.
Pam makes a good point. We're still unbeaten in the league. We are still.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a weird noise then.
Oh, it's not me.
Can you hear that?
No.
Can you guys in the chat hear that? Let me know. But yeah, I think we're still unbeaten in the league.
Sophie's got a ghost in the house.
I feel like there's someone here. Like, I'm scared. It will disappear, guys. Yeah, just alert people, please. But we're still unbeaten in the league, which obviously is a good point. I'm sure Ollie will be saying that to the players, so that we move on from that. We're still unbeaten in the league, but we need a response. I fear when we say it's in our hands, we used to say that like it was a good thing. Not with the way this top 4 race has gone for us. Genuinely, I can't put the trust in the team to be like, yeah, I'm confident we're going to do it. Because what's happened in the past, every time a team gets a chance of getting the top 4, they bottle it. And I'm just praying. We've got only 2 games left. We can't be afforded to bottle it now, can we?
No, but I do feel like you look at the team that we've got now, and he's run that quickies at your house already. Someone just put Luna will protect you as well. You've not met Luna in real life.
Yeah, she won't.
She'd be behind Sophie. I think if you look at the players now, that we've got players that will get will pick the game up and go out and win it for us. Obviously, it didn't happen yesterday, but I do think we'll revert back to our best 11 for these 2 final games, as long as injuries allow us. But I do think we'll see it, and I think we have got the players to go out and get the job done. Simple as.
Do you go all out strongest team now?
Yes, 100%.
I agree. Yeah. I agree completely. And with De Gea, what's your ideas on De Gea? Because we said strongest 11. Obviously, normally that would be De Gea in goal. Would you keep him, or would you put Romero in?
I'd keep him.
For me, how many chances are we going to give this guy, though? How many chances?
I know. So, Watford have sacked their manager. And I just look and think the timing of it is really strange when you're in the position that you are in. I feel like if we change something like that now, is it not almost bad timing or strange timing? Bearing in mind, we're then going to go into the Europa League, and we are going to, that the format of that league, that competition now is quite strange for me, well, for everyone. But yeah, I think I would still go with David De Gea. He messed up in the cup, and if we're gonna swap it out, if we're gonna split them, he messed up in the cup, but his Premier League record is still intact. We're still unbeaten in the Premier League.
See, I'm concerned for his mindset, really, because, like I say, these mistakes from De Gea are getting more regular. And always I defend him, saying, look at how many points he's saved us over the years, and then we're getting on his back, and I don't agree with it. But that mistake yesterday, Meg, if I'm being honest and I'm being real with you, I think me and you could have saved that second goal yesterday. Being truthful.
Bloody
exactly.
Hell.
You're laughing because I've seen you in goal and you've seen me in goal. Like, I think we could have saved it. And that's, for me, it's something up here with him. We know his ability, we know what he's got, but something is not quite right with De Gea. And for that reason, I would probably drop him for the rest of the Premier League season. And I know that sounds brutal, but I feel like, I'm not saying I'll drop him forever. I'm not saying I'll drop him forever, but I think there's an issue with confidence there. There's a mentality issue. Something's not quite right with him. And I think it's more of a case of Ollie protecting him and putting his arm around him. Because imagine if he makes another mistake now against West Ham. That costs us getting Champions League. Do you know? And that's what I mean. That would destroy him.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
So I know it says I wouldn't drop him and be harsh and give him the head roll like you said. I'll put an arm around him and I'll explain that I'm protecting you from obviously because he's obviously not in a good place at the minute, and that's the way that I would do it. A big shout out to Megan who's in the chat. Megan, I hope you're looking after yourself and your family are good and you're staying safe. Keep the house at the end of the season and then review. Megan is someone I used to teach actually.
Hello, Megan.
So I thought I'd say a big hello because she's been locked in and that. 1-0 Everton. Dean in goal. Everton are winning 1-0. Everton playing today? No, I forgot what day it even is. I think I think it must be. There must be. Declan Rice will shut United fans up, no doubt, and will show his class. Declan Rice obviously has been linked with us as well. Would you take him at United? We mentioned we need squad depth. We've mentioned we need squad depth, bear in mind.
I do like him as a player. I do, and he banged a goal in the other week, last game. So I do like him as a player. I probably would take him at United. People are saying he's overrated, but I feel like he's still young, isn't he? I feel like I'm not what my heart is set on him. If we didn't get him, we didn't get him. You know, when it was like Bruno, like everybody wanted Bruno. Like, and he's come in and he's lived up to that hype. I feel like I'm not like, oh, I'm going to go all out for Declan Rice this transfer window. But if we got him, I wouldn't be disappointed either.
Yeah. Should Mensah start over Williams if Shaw is out? What do you reckon? So, I think Mensah did a decent job against Palace, to be fair. Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to play in the semi-final because it started his first game in God knows how long after being injured against Palace, so I expected him to be dropped for the semi-final. But if Shaw isn't fit, and I do think we missed Shaw, by the way, yesterday, I'll be honest, I think we really missed Luke Shaw on the left-hand side. I know a lot of people dislike Luke Shaw, but for me, I think yesterday we realised his importance a bit. Would you start Fosu Mensah? Do you think he's good enough to play against West Ham? Can we trust him?
He didn't do a whole lot wrong, did he? So, I mean, we don't see the training and the ins and outs and stuff like that in terms of what happens in the training ground and how they train and the performance there. So, you don't know, if he's showcasing himself as well as he is on the pitch. So, I think you're going to go safety-wise, it'll probably be William because he has got more experience in the league and in the team in terms of like that we talked about having the chemistry and fluidity of the game and on the pitch. You'd go for more like Williams, but Mensah didn't do a whole lot wrong either. So it'd be hard. I don't know. I actually don't know what I'd do.
I agree with Tom a little bit here. He said that Williams didn't look fit. I don't think it's probably the worst game I've seen Brandon Williams play yesterday. And I know we're saying that the team was poor, but even the basics like that little pass he did for the second goal, whether it's because he's still not right, because of the knock that he had against Palace, obviously his eye is still pretty badly bruised. I don't know.
See.
Yeah, maybe it's just he couldn't see. It was like this whole game. I don't know, but I think that if Luke Shaw's not back, I would play Fosu Mensah. I don't think I put Williams in because I did think he looked a bit tired and a bit leggy, and he wasn't himself, to be honest, yesterday. So, yeah, Fosu Mensah, I think he could definitely do a job for us. The dugout, Doug, thank you so much for the super chat. Watford sacking Nigel Pearson is a pointless decision, and Huddersfield sacking Danny Cowley has just shown there is no loyalty in football anymore. There definitely is not. But what do you think of it? I'm going to talk about the Watford one, obviously Premier League. Nigel Pearson's been sacked with 2 games to go. I believe they've got 2 tough fixtures. Doug, let me know who Watford have got left as well. But sacking a manager at this point in the season, do you get that?
My only thing that I do think about this is that, when look at Wigan, for example, this season, when something bad goes wrong or you change a manager or you have a situation go on off the pitch, you always get a result in your next game. You look at, I think it was Arsenal.
I remember I said this to Doug on WhatsApp when he messaged me and he said that Pearson's been sacked, and Doug confirmed it. So I said back, I bet they're just trying to get the new manager boost for the last 2 games. I literally said that.
You get that as a team, don't you? Like, your manager's been sacked, but then players almost like something comes over them and they play for each other.
They've got something to prove, haven't they?
They go out and they get like a mad result. Like I said, look at Wigan. Like they've got no owners, and yet they're coming out and they get like a mad result against, who did they get against? Hull. So I think that, but then I look at the Cowley leaving Huddersfield, who have just beat West Brom, who are second in the league, and then they sack him. I don't get that. I more so get the Pearson one, the fact that he didn't get the result against West Ham, and like that was a big, it wasn't just like a close 1-0, was it? Like they got outplayed. But I just presume that it will be Man City at home and Arsenal away. They'll want that boost that you get when you sack a manager.
Yeah. Do you think Wolves can beat Chelsea? Yes.
Yeah.
Chelsea yesterday, don't get me wrong, I think they played well, but I think we made them look a lot better than actually what Chelsea are. Chelsea obviously have made some good signings, and I think next season is going to be a concern because I think they're linked with Havertz as well now. They've already got Ziyech and Werner. They're making some serious moves in the transfer window already, so I think it'd be interesting. But at this moment in time, I definitely think Wolves can beat them.
Definitely. I think Chelsea are a good team, and like I said, I can take a loss. When we at the start, we said we can take a loss. I can take a loss against Chelsea. They're a good team. They are a good team. They've already made signings. They will be a good team next season as well. But Chelsea were gifted. Yeah, we were the, what do they call it? Makers of our own downfall, because we just decided that we were going to let them score 2 goals within like 2 playing minutes of each other.
Yeah, and it's the worst possible times to concede. Warrior Fellaini said Giroud made us look silly. He did. IQ Insane says our main problem is a lack of winning mentality. Even at 2-0 yesterday, they wanted it more than us. From the off, they wanted it more than us yesterday, and that's what makes me think that we always prioritise the West Ham game. West Ham was always in the back of our minds yesterday, but I don't like that. For me, if you're in a semi-final of a cup, you go all out to get to the final and win that cup. Like I don't like this. I get there's more money if we get into top 4. I get that financially it's better for the club, but we've mentioned it before. Why not go and try and win everything? I would always start with my strongest 11 and then bring the players off afterwards. That's the way that I would always do it. But I also understand the other side of things, like you've said. If you don't rest players, we're going to end up with injuries, which then puts us on the back foot even more. It's an awkward situation, and like we've already mentioned, it just highlights the lack of depth and the lack of quality we've got in our squad. We can't rotate players because we haven't got the quality to do it. We simply haven't got that. So it's been a long, hard slug of a season. Obviously, we've had a nice rest in between, luckily, which has helped, I think. But yeah, we've had a lot of fixtures, Meg. But it's one of these things, isn't it? Do you think that we just now, to the end of the season, we play our main key players, obviously fetch them off when the game is done, but start with our key 11?
Definitely. Start with your strongest 11 in the style and the formation that we are used to and that we have set out for ourselves. Bring back the performances and the standard of performance that we have set for ourselves. And when I say we, I mean the players that set for themselves, because they've done it, and they've not just done it on like one game. They've done it on like numerous games. So it's not just a fluke that it happened. They've set their standards. They need to go out and perform to these standards now.
Yeah, like George says, has to be the same front six that excel. I agree. We look so good going forwards last few games, and then we just ruined it yesterday. I agree. Alex said apparently there's rumours that Pearson attacked a Watford player, and that's obviously contributed to him being sacked. I've been interested to learn more about that if there is the case. I haven't heard
anything. No, I've not heard any of that.
I haven't either. Right, Darren's already started, but Meg, I'm going to ask you as well. So we've said we're going to put our strongest 11. You said you'll stick with De Gea. I've said I'll go with Romero. We'll see what happens in terms of De Gea. But what is your score prediction for this one? And if you feel confident, have a guess at who's going to score as well.
3-1 to United. And I feel like, you know how we said about having a new manager or no manager boost? I feel perhaps like we'll come back and showcase what we can do again. So I think it'll be 3-1. I think Antonio will score for them. And I think Greenwood will get 2 and Igalo will come on and score.
Oh, I like that. I hope Greenwood scores again. He's had quite a few games, Greenwood, hasn't he? But I'm going to say a 2-1 win. I think we'll scrape it. I'm hoping that we see a better performance. I'm hoping Martial keeps his form up for scoring. And I would like to see Greenwood bag another one, to be honest with you. I'm going to say a Greenwood or a Pogba goal I'd be satisfied with. But a win, obviously, is crucial. A lot of people are saying West Ham are going to win as well, which is interesting. West Ham have been flying lately, to be honest. And like say, Antonio has been scoring for fun. 2-1 United gainers going with the same one as me. But yeah, I think Martial, I would like to see him continuing to score. Twisted said, Meg, you're not sounding convincing.
Okay, let me try
yesterday's
again.
performance, I cannot blame.
United will win 3-1, and Greenwood will score 2 goals, and Ighalo will come off the bench, and Ighalo will score a worldie, like backflip volley, over the head kick, spin round. Then he's gonna do a backflip to celebrate, and then he's gonna stride off the pitch, and then he's gonna hold a sign that says, "Is that convincing?"
So, if all that happens, Meg, I'm getting the lottery number from you for next week, honestly.
If that happens,
in the chat, Meg.
You'll see me on their thing. Here she is.
The skank is in the chat. Nicole says, this is a sick show. Might do a mad one and come on sometime. We want you back on, Nicole. Hopefully at some point this week we'll get you on. We have explained to people. But Nicole, do us a favour in the chat, drop in your score prediction for the game against West Ham. Let us know what you're thinking. Ball, thank you so much for the super chat. Off to work there, ladies. Great show. I hope we can beat West Ham and Leicester. Enjoy work.
At work.
Yes, enjoy work, and fingers crossed we do get that result against West Ham. But thank you for tuning in, and as always, thank you for the super chat and your support. It truly does mean a lot. I agree with Meg 3-1, says Alex. Doug is confident. He's saying 3-0 to United.
Oh, go on, Doug.
Antonio will give our centre-backs hell. I am concerned about Antonio, and if anyone's going to score for West Ham, I would say it'd be him. Hi, Nicole says, Tom, I'm reformed. United 3-1.
Oh look, now he's coming back. Twisted Baba. No.
Tom Brainbridge says 4-0. Maguire header, hat-trick for Martial.
But he needs to get one, doesn't he?
He's had so many recently.
Last night.
Yeah. Doug said West Ham have nothing to play for. We thought that about Palace, to be fair. Teams, when they're playing United, we know what it's like. They step up. It's like a cup final when they're playing United. So I never go in with that belief or they're already on the holidays, because when Manchester United are in town or when a team goes to Old Trafford, we've seen it so many times. They just get superhero powers overnight. It's just ridiculous. Like, teams just step up. 3-1, says Nicole. Not feeling confident enough for a clean sheet, but we have to go all out. No excuses. I would agree with that completely. I wouldn't say I'm super confident, but we've got to get the job done. I'm just praying that we've got enough quality to get the job done. 4-0 and the season is done. Moyes has a point to prove. That is true. Moyes will want to get one over on us, definitely. And then Lone Star says Watford's decision to sack Pearson makes owners look like ostriches. How many managers have Watford had this season now? Is it 4 or 5?
I don't know. But
that's mad.
They need to sort it out, don't they? You can't. You are where you are because of. So what I feel, because you're doing that, you need to find a manager, give them time, back them, give them money. So
yeah, I do want Rashford to back, because I absolutely love Marcus Rashford, as people know. People keep commenting on it. Oh, by the way, Meg, I did get the word banana in one of my fan cam yesterday.
I missed it. I need to go and check it.
On the WhatsApp yesterday, just before my fan cam for United stand, I'll tell you this, so go and watch the fan cam and tell me if you spot it. Meg dared me to get the word banana in on it.
I got it in. It was an easy word. I've got to give you a harder word. I'm going to go for the dictionary. I'm going to give you a harder word for next time.
Deal, but I did it. So if you can spot me saying the word banana in my fan cam, 10 points to you, because I did it. Soph for spot on, I appreciate that, thank you. Did you see Saeed's fan cam? I've seen snippets of it, and he lost his rag a little bit, didn't he? I can hear a baby in my AirPods, and there's no baby here.
It's my baby.
I thought the ghost was back. I was thinking, no, this isn't normal.
No, but by the way, I haven't just let him by himself. He is with my husband.
I thought it's me. I thought it's going crazy.
No, my little one is, but he is with somebody. I've not just left him by himself.
Actually, Rahul heard it as well. That makes me feel a bit better, because I thought this ghost was back and I could just hear a baby here. That'd be creepy. But no, it's no ghost. It just makes baby. But yeah, guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. For everyone who's done a super chat, thank you so much. It's really kind. Me and Meg are really grateful. Meg, as always, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed it again.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. I mean, the last night wasn't a pleasure, but I feel like I've got it off my chest now. We're moving on. I'm over it. I'm done, dusted with the FA Cup, and I'm focused on the Premier League. But I am, I'm all raring for it. 48 hours to go. And I will see, we'll see you. Well, hopefully later on this week. Might get an extra show in there. But yeah, hopefully next time we see you, we'll be sat at least fourth, if not third, depending on Chelsea.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Guys, if you are new, please do hit that sub button and share the video. I'd really appreciate it. Hit a like on the video. And if we have missed you in the chat, I do try and get everyone up here if I missed you.
I'm laughing because Josh is...
if I have missed you in the chat, please do drop a comment afterwards. I will always respond there. Meg checks the comments as well after the video is done with. But all that's left to say, guys, is have a lovely evening. Look after yourselves. Fingers crossed United do bounce back against West Ham. Hoping for a good game regardless anyways. But take care, guys. Keep smiling. Cheers.
Bye-bye.